Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Open Discussion Podcast. I have a special guest with me, Sound First Class, retired Morales, a logistician, right? I'm not a big fan of these loggy guys, but if you serve in the army for 2 days, two folks you don't want to piss off before the two alphas and the deck loggy guys because you got to eat, you got to drink, you got to sleep, you need fuel. I mean, so it's a lot. 23 years military service, over eight combat deployment, man, that's a lot. Big combat deployment. And last served as a senior logistic manager. And after transition, he currently served as the deputy logistic chief for Defense Health Agency. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
I appreciate you, man. As we discussed, when I first discussed create this podcast, man, there's a lot, veterans to come on here and just, talk about their story, man, because we all have different stories, different journey, different path, and different reasons why we decide to serve. And if you don't mind, just want to just get right into it. You could have picked different MOS, but I guess you want to be a guy in logistician, so that's okay. But if you can tell us, man, what was the motivation in serving? Why did you decide to serve?
So, right after graduate high school, a bunch of friends, yeah, we were asking the question, hey, what you gonna do after you graduate from high school? One wants to be an actor, one wants to be an engineer, one wants to be a doctor, and I want to be a cop at that time. I want to join to
You
the
want to be a
YPD.
cop?
For that, yeah, yes, and at that time, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna get my criminal justice degree, and I'm gonna get good things. Well, I was in college. I took the test, and when I took the test, I got approved. And as I was going to sign my contract to join in to the to becoming a cop to go to the school, something in my mind changed completely, and I said, "This
Mm.
is what I really want to do. This is what I'm going to go for. I mean, 20 years from now, I'm just going to stay here in this city, and that's it. This is it." And I came forward and I said, "Sir, man, thank you so much, but I'm not ready for this." I didn't feel bad, but I feel like that was no for me that at the call. So I joined the army. And the first thing, like recruiters always says, you're gonna trouble the war, you're gonna see the war. Damn right, see the war.
Yeah.
Yes, no regret after though. No regret. I went to basic Fort Jackson, IT at Fort Lee, and my first duty station Fort Campbell. Never forget. First day I came in. Yeah, I went to second 327, no slack, Charlie Company. Man, I feel like I was in basic again at that time. Discipline was so tight. Everybody was just like, man, you late for formation, you late for formation, man, you're gonna pay. Um, my supply sergeant at that time, he was leaving, so you got a private first class in charge of the supply room.
Mm.
Uh, First sergeant brought me to his office and told me, hey, if you want them to respect you, make sure you learn your job. If you know your job, there's nothing that you can do. It stuck in my mind, like every position that I got, I need to learn the job fast, quick, and be able to react. And then right after that, I did a tour in Kosovo. When I came back, the OF1 came up, OF1. And from that, through the point, it was back and forth, back and forth. I can tell you that the, out of all my deployments, I think the first one always stuck on me. That
Yeah.
Operation Iraq Freedom one. That was that one that we, a lot of questions in my ear, thinking, man, what about if I'm not coming back? This is the
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
deal now. What happened now? But no, I'm grateful, thankful. All these years, I was able to um, serve my country with pride, with honor. At the same time, provide also for my family too, as well. It was something that, I'm grateful always for that. And why I serve my country, I would say because I want to make a difference. I mean, first in my family who serves in the army,
Mm.
the first one.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to be a police officer, and then you enlisted, and then you didn't went into the security forces. So being a military police person, you went to become a logistic person. How was that selection? You said the recruiter just say, "Hey, this is the best MOS," and you just selected it. Well, how did you came across about being a supply a
So,
92
so
Yankee?
the recruiter at the time, the recruiter was actually a Yankee logistician.
That's why.
Yes. And he was like, Because I told him, man, I want to be an MP, man. I said, what? To be an MP
Yeah,
for? I don't know, because I want to be a cop. And he walked me through the
yeah.
base, and he's like, you see that? That's what the MPs does. You see that? That's where they at. I said, well, okay, but you don't see the big picture. Let me show you what we do. So he took me to a supply place. It's like, this, we in charge of this, we're doing this, we coordinate that. And I was like, man, that's cool. I think I can do that. Yeah, and he was like, try it. If you don't like it, after 3 years, then you can go ahead and change
Hmm.
your MOS, and then
Hmm.
apply for a different MOS. That's not a problem. But no, I didn't like it. I really did. I really did. I
Yeah.
really did.
Logistics is a huge game. Logistics moves the army, right? Without
It
logistics,
is.
nothing happened. Without logistics, nothing happened. My wife is a logistic person herself, and I have a high appreciation, high respect for you legislation folks. Some good friends of mine, Command Simon Holmes, not a loggy. Um, how was it for
Uh-huh.
you, right? Because now you leaving the civilian sector, now you're in the military, you're in the supply room, and in terms of your entire military career, how did you navigate it? And true, when I mean navigation, we all have different paths. After your first couple of years, you decided, man, this stuff is pretty easy. I love it here. I'm gonna keep going. Was there a crossroad where you came across some things you'd be like, I don't know, this military thing's not for me anymore. But how were you able to sustain and complete over 23 years of service?
So after my deployments, I remember I was stationed in Germany, and there was an installation that was about ready to close. And I was close to PCS back to the States, I remember. And I volunteered to say, hey, I want to be part of this close installation. For me, it was big, regardless of what's happening, or what
Yeah.
was the reward after. For me, that was like, man, I want to be part of this close installation. I want to be part of that. Unfortunately, they didn't let me. The got plans to, move me back to the States. And there was a challenge, was like, man, nothing is working out. Man, why I gotta go back to the States? I want to try to be this. When I came, but I know, right? When I came to the States, I came to Fort Leonard. My mind perception changed completely when I was working as a battalionist for in a basic training unit, and my perception changed completely when I saw basic training soldiers information. I look at it for a minute, and I say, wow, that's exactly what I came from. I was then at one point. I was
Yeah.
just then at one point. And I found the purpose in that part, saying, you know what, in my position, I can do a lot to provide the support that they need, which means is provide to the companies with, all the class of supplies, be able to ready to be training. And that changed completely my perspective. You know what? I get it. I didn't get the chance to be part of the team for the, closing the installation, but I'm becoming a part of a team that can make a difference. I give you an example, make sure the soldier got, the necessary equipment to train, for example, essential items, for example, sunscreen, insect repellent, food power, and all that good stuff that they needed, you know, things like that. Um, and I found the purpose in that part. Now that at that time I was an NCO, I was able to mentor and coach young soldiers coming and be part of the supply run at that time, and don't have no reason, no purpose. Came up with the idea. I'm gonna do 4 years and I'm out. I'm doing four
Hmm.
years and I'm out. I'm gonna go to college after. It was a typical conversation. But then I was like, why you have to wait? Why you have to wait after you get out to go to college? I said, no, I tell you what. And I brought everybody, because I always have my weekly meetings. I said, look, why don't you just go to college when you're still in the service and take one class at a time? Only one. No two, no three. Only one. As you're getting more experience, then jump two. But because we're in the high environment, I can I can only take one at a time. And then we all did. Even myself, I enrolled at that time, and we all enrolled to college at the time, and it was helpful because I got two now. At that time, they were private first class. Two of those, one is in Washington and one is in Texas. they're master sergeants right now, and I still got the conversation, and I still got the always checking on us how we're doing, and it's like, hey, you know that I'm doing the same thing you told me when when I was a private. I said, what is that? I said, I enroll everybody in college now. They say, hey, you got time, just one class at a time. And I said, really? They say,
Yeah.
yeah, I do that. I said, thanks to that part, it makes a lot of difference, man. So yes, I found a lot of purpose when I was here, because of that. Never forget that part. Good impact, good difference. And every station I was going, every station I was stationed at, I always uh include that part. Hey guys, maybe the army is not for you for 20 years. Maybe you not made it to 20 years. Who knows? Go to
Yeah.
college. Get your backup plan always. Aside, because you never know what's gonna happen after. Don't wait until you get out from the army, get out the service, and then go to college. Doesn't work like that. Yeah. Some of them they listen. Some of them just say, you know what? Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right. Let me stop at the education center real quick. They say, hey, it's free. Look at all these benefits you got right now. And some of them then, and I get it. I respect that. I totally
Mhm.
respect that. There is so much that you can do when you're in so much time that you can usually wisely to make yourself ready when you transition out. You know?
Yeah, that's what make the army so, or the military so unique. You have an opportunity to impact, many people, as you stated. You may provide some advice and some recommendations, but not everybody's going to take it. But then seeing those guys and girls come back years after and say, "Hey, I appreciate what you did for me," it goes a long way, right? Because it's all about the people for which we serve. In terms of you being a non-commissioned officer, you bring your folks in and just let them know, hey, man, if you want to get out and go to school, you can do that here. A lot of folks are doing this, so that's a
Yes.
testament of your leadership. I would like to explore your deployments. We don't talk about deployments a lot. You have 8 combat deployments. Each one is different. For me personally, my deployment shaped me in different ways. Because when I first got deployed, 2003, it was just me. I didn't have no family, no kids, nothing else. But then once you
I
start to
understand.
have family, things changes. You know what I'm saying? Things you look at things differently now. You look at things through a different lens, with respect to how you conduct yourself. The urgency of making it back is somewhat important. Not saying if you don't have a family, it's not important. But for me, I speak from my vantage point. Once I had my son, it changes everything in my life. So when I deployed, things were a little bit different. Did you experience that at all in any of your deployment while you were deployed? Like I said, each one is different. You said the first one have a huge impact on you. But how did if it changed you? How did it change you as a man, as a family man, as a leader? If it did,
Well, I can tell you that I appreciate life much better. Uh, I I I can when my first deployment, my daughter was 1 year old, and then I didn't get the chance to spend a lot of time with them. I can tell you that I feel myself blessed and lucky to still marry through all these years, because
yeah,
through
yeah,
you know through all this time, it's hard to find someone to be behind you, next to you, holding you when you going through these situations, and
yeah,
I won't made it through all these years, through all these deployments, if it wasn't for my wife's support. I probably would never made it through that, because besides me being deployed in do things over there, the credit for everything, I give it to her to take care of the family and my kids. 100%. 100%. Now that I retired, and I'm working as a civilian now, I I spend more time, with the family, with the wife, and I look and say, wow, man, all these years, I, I,
hmm
I I couldn't be for a birthday or for maybe Christmas, or important dates. And now I make myself better. I make it better that what I didn't do before. Did it impact me? Yes, impact me a lot. Sometimes I feel like all these years, I've been away, and it's something that I couldn't stop on that part. It's something that if you've been in, you know, for every service member that been deployed, uh, they swallow the same thing I swallow. Like, damn,
Yeah.
this is part of the job. This is part of, you know, you've been away. How that changed me? Well, I pass around what, you know, what the experience and knowledge to the young soldiers, you know, or young lieutenants that, you know, along they've been working with me, or young captains, you know, giving the best guidance, you know, to come across, you know, that you know how we do, what we did, what we were deployed, you know, what's the stuff that we're looking for. Because I get it, and I completely respect it too. You know, when you work with an officers, always coming with the knowledge, and you know, and see how we do things. But also in my humble opinion, I also say, sir, hey, this is like this. We gotta adjust this part. Hey, logistics work
Yeah.
this way, sir. We gotta make sure, you know, we get it right, you know, and hold my people accountable for you know what we do, how we do, when we do, you know. That's the thing. um that's my main thing. I get the privilege to work with good leadership, uh and also I think I see the both sides, you know. But the positive way of that is that I get that I learn from both sides, one
Yeah.
to follow, and the other one to not to be, but make it better, make it better, make it better, make it better for your team, for your organization. So for both, I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for both, because that help you to better see the picture, you know, of what and how you want to lead, how you want to bring your organization. So yes, you know, 100%.
So you were saying something about
Proud.
the family dynamic, yeah, the family dynamic earlier, and how important that was for you, and how your spouse, your wife, kept everything together. And that's something that we don't hear folks talk about, right? The family issue of it, because the family goes through a lot when you deploy. Not even when you deploy, just back at the regular home station, the field training exercise, those long hours, you're missing critical time between your family lives, and the role that the family plays, in keeping us sane to where you can focus on the task at hand. Because if you didn't have that solid as far as foundation home, that can deter you from focusing on the mission at hand sometimes, to make those decisions that can preserve life or take life.
100%.
Yeah, so we have to get things to the family
100%.
members who has
100%.
always been there. They play a huge role. Yeah, you talked about leadership earlier, in terms of the leadership style, and lieutenants and captains and officers you work with. From a leadership perspective, how will you describe your leadership style as coming up to the military? Because it changes, right, from one stage to the next stage. The Army is constantly changing. Every position comes with different level of difficulties and challenges. Were you the kind of guy who, led based on consensus, meaning you talk to folks, you gather information, you analyze, you make a decision, or you were like, hey, this is logistic, this is how it's going to work. I want this over here, I want that over there. How was it you? Because we're going to discuss your civilian life here differently. But how was it, going through becoming a daggone logistic guy, and dropping those supply stuff where it needed to go?
So my 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 leadership style is very simple. My guys will come with a plan, and I will assume the responsibilities if something goes down. So I pull my guys together, say, look, we got this thing going on. We about to do this. What do you got? Share your ideas. Share me how, and it's no wrong answer. But share me how you want to do it. Boss, I got it like this. Okay, let's do it. But boss, I don't know if I'm right. We'll find out. Don't worry. We get it. We get it together. Something goes wrong, pull everybody in. Let's do analysis of what went wrong. Okay. What we learned. Well, definitely not this way. Okay, perfect. Next time, let's try it better now. Let's do it. Never judge, always teach.
Yeah,
Never judge. We're not perfect. Always teach. And I tell you, you get so much product from that part that everybody in your team will be confident to take a decision in your absence. 100%.
that's the best way to do it. That
100%.
that inclusiveness, yeah, that makes everybody's involved, everybody's contributing. Because once the team believe that, to some extent, determine that you are not open to recommendations, You know what I'm saying? Or with the criticism, it create problems. And I've seen a lot of leaders struggle in this area to where they believe because I'm the leader. I mean, I take for responsibility. I got it, but you have a team. It's critical that you gather those consensus. I mean, there will be time where you have to make that decision on the spot. You know, I mean, it's fully understandable, but you have to be open to receive his recommendations and look at different options because you may not have all the right ideas. If somebody have a better idea, you know, execute and then give them the credit. You know, and give them the overall credit because it
100%.
comes down to the team, right? When the team is successful, everybody's overall successful. So sometimes you don't have to make yourself the center of gravity because I'm the leader, I'm the guy in charge, the girl in charge. Without me, nothing happened. You know, so as I said earlier, I have a high appreciation for logistics, just logistician. It's just because I have a huge appreciation for it because I saw how logistics operate firsthand while I deploy. You know, back in the States, you know, there's a way in which things can happen, you know, but when you deploy, you fall operational base and you have no class 1, 2, or 3, you know, and then by the time you look, it's there, you know, no matter what if the weather go black, whatever the case may be. I have a very huge appreciation for just logistic and how the army logistic operation function. So my question to you here is that looking hindsight, looking forward now in terms of the job you're doing now to the job you did in the military, what are the similarities and what are the difference in the army logistic operation and then now you on the DoD side in terms of the differences and the similarity? If you were to do something different, what would that be?
If I will do something different, what I will be. I like to serve. I like to assist. I like to help. But what will be something different? Probably will be still like logistics. 100%.
There's no other
100%.
MOS you want to do?
No, no. I thought a lot while ago to uh uh to becoming a contract officer. 54 Charlie, I want to say. Yeah, 52 or 54
Mhm.
Charlie, I remember. But no disrespect with them. But I'm happy for what I was doing. And 100%. And so now with now that I'm not in the service, and now working for as a civilian in the position that I'm into right now. So we support external units besides the hospital. We do support external units, and all these external units. I was there at one point. I came from
Yeah.
from those units at one point, and and when I what I do and how I do things to assist them to help them out, it healed me a lot, and how we can make a lot of things happen. They always come to me and say they're struggling because they want to, they try to order class A, they try to get this, they try to get that. And I tell them, look, come on, let me show you. This is how you do it. This is what you need to do. This is who you need to contact, and never forget where you're coming from. Never forget where you're coming from. So no, I don't think I will be doing other than West. I think I'll be fine with this one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. I mean, that's good. You're
Yeah,
very
I
passionate
don't, I don't see
about what
myself
you
like
did.
that
So
though.
and that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah, 100%.
So what was the decision to go and transition? You know, you did your time in the service, a lot of deployments, different duty station, families intact, everything's going pretty well, and you said to yourself, it's time
So
to transition out.
but my last tour before I retired, I was stationed in Turkey. I was part of the NATO Lancom. I did there almost a year and a half, almost 18 months, I want to say, so close to. And I was away from family. Coming back, I came back by the time was COVID, and my wife and my kids was in Fort Leonard at the time. So to move my family from Fort Leonard to Fort Campbell in the middle of COVID, it
Oh,
was
COVID,
almost
yeah,
kind of
that's a
impossible.
huge. I mean, you a logistic guy. That should be pretty easy for
So
you.
so I ended moving to Fort Campbell by myself. Big no go. Um, I say, well, I'm in Fort Campbell. I can come, every other week back to Fort Leonard and see my family. And I was doing that for a while. But then we uh we got deployed to Germany for 8 months. Then we come back. Then we went again to another training
Mm.
exercise. Then I come back. Then I ended going more often now. Then I come back. And then my wife, say, hey, look, let's talk. I said, what's going for all these years, hey, we've been doing this, but how much longer you want to do it? How much longer you want to do this? How much longer, you think you can do that? To do this shit like this. In other words, when you're gonna be home? And I looked at it and said, well, you already passed your 20. I made the list for Master Sergeant. I didn't, my number was way too high. And I was like, you know what? You're right. It's time to go home, right? Then right, it's time to go home. I said, okay, then I will start my paperwork for retirement. Do you have any plans for what you're gonna do after? I said, no, I don't. I figured out something, I will figure it out something. So I started my paperwork and everything, and I did my CSP in DPW in Fort Campbell with the hazmat section, and I said, hey, Jorge, we have a spot open for you. You want to stay here? I look at, I say, I take you, but I don't think, my family wants to move back here. I gotta go back. The whole reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going back to Fort Leonard. When I came here after my transition, I started looking for a job and dealing with my resume, interviews. I remember my first interview, man, went so bad. So bad. I think I got so nervous. I no
Oh,
shame, man.
man.
I no shame. But was one of the things, that I take a deep breath. I say, you know what? Okay, I get it. You know, you didn't do good, but what you gonna do about it? You're just gonna
Yeah.
let it be? No. Go back and fix it. Fix what you did wrong and go back and do it again. So start doing more mocks, more interview mocks until I get it right. Um, I remember for the first 8 months, 7 months, I didn't find anything. So I was
Mm.
trying to figure it out. I did my resume. I did my federal resume. What's going on? No phone calls, nothing. Oh yes, you've been selected, but nobody called you. And I was like, man, what's going on? That I'm not good for this job? Did I get up at the wrong time? Or what is going on? What is going on? So um, a lot of people was telling me, hey, just take this job, you'll be fine. You can in the future you'll hit an escalate, or you can take this and you'll be fine. But I was like, no, man, that's no, 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 no. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. But what are you looking for? I say, look, I want something that I was doing before, and I want something that is aligned with what my education and my spirit goes. But there is no job. There was no job. There was literally no job. So I spoke with one of my mentors. He's in San Francisco, and he was like, hey, first of all, you need to fix this resume. It's wrong. You speak too much army language in here.
Yeah.
People don't care that. I mean, they do it to a certain point, but you need to focus more on
Yeah.
hey, civilian work. I said, what is the civilian work? Here, he gave me a book so I can look at it, read it, and kind of like transmit my resume through that part. I said, do you fix it now? Say yes. Okay, then good luck now. Start applying. And then I start following someone in LinkedIn that he was like, you can apply, doesn't matter how many times you apply, but you have to be consistent in applying. You have to be
Yeah.
consistent. And I was like, man, nobody called me. And I was like, again, asking myself, did I'm good for this? Or what all my spirits went through, it was really testing me big time. And then coming to find out, I didn't have no plan how I was putting my execution for applying for a job. I was just applying and I was just waiting that somebody's gonna call me, but it was never happened like that. So what I did the last 3 months before my 7 month, I looked for a job from, I wouldn't say from 1600 to 2000. I looked for at least 4 positions, right? Aligning for one job. And then next day in the morning, when I wake up at 4 in the morning, I started going to the application, look at my resume, see what's going on. Oh, is that what fit what I do? If it did, go for it. If it doesn't, next time. And I've been, coming to find out in 1 month. I was almost doing almost close to 40 to 50 applications.
Mm.
And I was doing the same routine every day, every day. And then I was like, but nobody called me, man. What's going on? At the third month, I start getting phone calls. Hey, we see your application here. Are you ready for interview? I'm ready. I'm ready.
I've been
I'm
ready.
ready. I'm ready. I've been practicing. I'm practicing. I'm practicing. Yeah, practicing. And surrendered before Christmas. Three agencies got accepted. One from Netherlands, one from Germany, and one for here. So I looked my wife and said, hey, I'm gonna say yes to all those three. And she's like, but what about if you're gonna have to leave again? I said, no, 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 no. If I get selected in Europe, you're coming with me. I'm not going by myself this time. I said, okay. And I was so excited, so excited. I was like, okay, fine. Now what? Interviews came through, passed the interviews and everything. Coming close to Christmas, um, doing my paperwork to do the background check and all that. And the background check from here came early than those agencies, way early. Hey, your background was good, you approved. When do you want to start? First or the 15th of January?
Right.
I was like, oh my God, can't believe it, man. I say, you know what? 1st of January, I'm good. I'm ready, man. I'm
Sign
ready.
me
I,
up.
I cannot believe it. Yeah, sign me up. Right after, um, right after came with the other position. Say, hey, you got accepted. When do you want to start? I say, I'm so sorry. I already accept this position. Thank you so much for, but yes, that was a long, long uh, journey experience. I can reduce into sentence. Don't give up. Be
Yeah.
persistent because it's gonna get to you one way or another. One way or another. I passed the experience that I had to my friends that they were transition out, and some people that also transition out. I said, don't give up. Stay persistent. Have a plan. How you want to address this part? How you want to execute your plan when you want to apply? Don't assume because you did 20 years or 10 years in the service, people's gonna open the door for you and put the red carpet so you can walk through. It's not happening. You have to work through, I don't expect that, but you have to be persistent on it. A lot of people say, oh, because you know somebody. I didn't know nobody. Every single position that I was applying, I was already with a mentality. Hey, I'm here, I'm ready, and this is what I offer to the table. They didn't offer me, they don't accept me. I say thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Next, same thing. Knock the second door. Hey, no, I'm sorry. No problem, sir. Thank you so much. Next, never take anything personal. Just keep moving. You know, keep moving. And that was the lesson. It was a journey, but more than that, it was like be persistent, but don't give up. Be persistent. If you really want it, you will get it. 100%. 100%. A lot of friends. I had two friends actually. They're about to retire very soon. I said, look, one thing that I didn't do before I retired, it was working on my resume. I should have worked my resume before I retired, no after I
Yeah.
retired. So learn from a mistake. Work on your resume before you retire. Start working on your CSP
Those are great
before you
points.
retire. Start making your connections to
Yeah.
LinkedIn
This.
before you retire.
Hmm.
Because when you out, we're replaceables, 100%. The people that you used to talk to back when you wasn't in the service, they're probably gone by now, and you probably don't talk to people that right after. And that's what I always say. Hey, when you're in the service, start building your LinkedIn profile. Get to know people. You may talk with one, two, three, but that's fine. Get those connections going. Talk to the company. Say, look, my name is Sam. I'm doing logistics. Would you give me a chance to bring my game to your company and do my CSP with you? I don't expect nothing back. Just if you give me the chance and opportunity to bring my experience to
The
you and
opportunity.
also learn from your company,
That's
what
all I
can I do?
ask. The opportunity. That's all you ask. I mean, you made some good points, bro. You made some real good points in the whole laying out the red carpet, right? I fall under that category myself because I believe that I did a couple of years in the military. I had some experience. And what you experience, believe me or not, lots of veterans go through the same thing. Even general officers and CNI commissioned officers and went through the same thing because To some extent, we have been conditioned, right, to be a high performer. Selection is going to come. You do your job, you're going to get selected, whatever the case may be. But now you're in a different environment where it's not, the organization is not telling you you're not good enough. It's just you're not the right fit for our position at this time. And as you stated, it can have a huge impact on you. I don't know how you felt about it, but for me, I asked myself, man, am I not good enough? I mean, what's going on? Because you put on all these resume out there, no bites, no phone call. And as you said, you had to go back and re-strategize. Okay, let me look at this thing differently, see how I can re-attack this whole process. So those are things that a lot of folks who are serving, who's going through the transition process, have no idea in terms of how to manage that piece. How to sit there, make sure my resume is targeting this specific job. Because when you went through TAP or received this general resume that nobody even looked at, really, because it's not targeting the specific job. So your story is very, very profound, believe it or not. What you went through, you've been a supply logistic background, and now you have to go through the whole process of finding a new job, a new industry. And it can be a lot. How would you describe that feeling? Because for me, I felt to some extent, I would feel like, man, am I not good enough? I can do the job, but how can you describe what you
Well,
felt?
that was the moment that I put it like this. It was a test that they put in your life to say either you give up and let it be, or either you get up and keep fighting and keep walking. You know, that's the moment that you find the strength in your soul, in your heart, that you know what, I'm better than this. I'm gonna walk through this. And that's the moment that you find the heart that you got inside, and say, you know what, I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep moving because this is a test, but also I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing to show my kids that in life you're gonna find those challenges that's gonna break you. It's gonna defeat you. It's gonna treat you. But you going through that, you're leaving a legacy in your kids and say, you know what, my dad did that. If my dad did that, I'm gonna go through that too. There's no challenge I can defeat because you know what? That old man right there went through all this by himself. He didn't give up. I keep telling my
Yeah,
son all the time, look, son, in life you're gonna find a lot of challenges, but it's up to you if you want to go for it or let it be, or
yeah,
let it be. In
yeah,
my end, in my side, I can tell you though, it was a lot of times I want to give up. It was a lot of times that I want to say,
yeah.
you know what?
You a human being like anybody else.
I'm done. I'm just gonna go. Hey, yeah, I'm just gonna go work on McDonald's. I'm gonna work. No, like I said, not just nobody, but I'm just gonna do this. That's it. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And it was a lot. It was a lot that I was touching ground, and I was like, man, what else I can do? I got my resume, I got my degrees, I got this, I got that. What else I can do? You
Yeah,
know? And I was like, God, I don't know what plans you got for me, but I tell you what, man, you making me feel right now that I'm not good enough. And maybe this is a way to tell me, hey, keep walking,
yeah,
keep walking, keep walking, you know? And I be and at the end, I feel like, wow, it wasn't not really a lot of work, but it was a work, you know?
yeah. It was.
Maybe I was not seeing the
It was.
picture, clear enough, but it took a lot of assessment on how regain your plan. But most of that check the ego. They say, you know what? Yes, I'm good enough, but I'm wild to accept a criticized opinion, a good
Yeah,
criticized opinion to tell me, hey man, your resume right here is look weak, but you need to fix it. Roger that. Let me fix it. Hey man, this words right here, there's too much army words. Let me fix it. No problem. I do it. What else? What else can I do? And I was, like I said, I was able to take those parts, those opinions to say yes, no problem. I get it. I'm learning something right now, and I'm wild to hey, whatever you say, I'm good. I'm gonna do it. Talking with different people, talking with different mentors was like I learned something from that part, and how I pay that forward is to help somebody down the road that he's going or struggling with that part. Let it know, hey man, let me help you. You know, let's talk for a minute. It's not bad as you think it's bad, but there is no magic in here. It's just
nah,
being
there's no
persistent
magic.
and
Yeah,
disciplined.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's persistent
yeah.
and discipline. The rest is going to be there for you. It's gonna be there for you. Friend of mine just as a matter of fact, he retired in September. And for the last year, we've been talking every at least twice a month. And I told him I'm gonna share with you all my mistakes, everything what I did wrong. So you know what the path not to go through. But if you want to go to the path,
What
that's
not to
fine.
do.
Go to the path. I mean, you find out. Yeah, not to do quick. And he already got his CSP squad away. He's gonna do his CSP with Amazon, and what's gonna happen after? But he he was able to figure it out things while he's still in the service quickly than me when I was get out. And
Yeah,
and I told him, hey brother, pass this forward to somebody that he about to retire. Pass this forward to somebody who's going through that. That's the only way that's the only way you tell me thank you. You know, pass it forward to somebody because along the line, man, there's a brother or there's a sister there that they need some help. They're struggling right now
it's gonna need
because
some help.
as they retire, as they get out the service, exactly, they facing the new identity. They facing the new identity as a civilian. And it's bad. It's depressed, man. I was I was getting my ID card. I remember that. Never gonna forget that. I was going to get my retired ID card, so giving my active duty card. Going on post, boom, get my new ID card. I'm good. As I was coming out of the gate, I forgot to I have to stop at the commissary because I have to do some shopping. Turn around, go back to the main gate. My ID didn't work.
Man,
And I was like, wait a minute, but I just get
just
out. I
got
missed
it.
my ID. I'm sorry, boss. You gotta go to all the gate. We're gonna register. You gotta fill out this form. But I said, but you didn't even told me
Mm.
when I got my new ID card. I say, I know, but you gotta go through all this process now. I feel like a stepchild kicking out of the house. I say, okay, man, you out.
Go figure it out, right?
I say, yeah, no problem.
Go
I
figure it out.
figured it out. I say, yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay. No problem. I get it, Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's amazing, though.
I
That's amazing, man. I really appreciate you sharing your story, beat. That's the whole reason why this platform was created, really. To allow folks like yourself who serve and who have a very unique story, and hopefully somebody can grab something from your story. Because, as you stated, transition can be very, very difficult. You have a good time in the military, your family piece. You have a very good story, man. I want to say thank you for your service. Before I let you go here, I have just one final question for you, if you don't mind. What duty station was the best
Say
one
one more
for you?
time. The best one. First, man. All the way.
I know you're going to say 101st.
All the way. 101st.
I know you're going to say. I know you're going to say 101st. I know you're going to say. I know you're going
And
to
I'm
say
gonna tell you
101st.
what.
But yeah,
So
okay.
101st, no slack, man. First, second, 3 to 7, no slack. And I'm gonna tell you what, because that was to set the pace of discipline on how structured the battalion are, and was before. 100%. I always, in my mind was like every soldier should be stalked by an infantry union as a first duty station, regardless of what MOS is, because it will set the pace of discipline. It will set the place of soldier is a soldier, no matter what. In my end, helps me a lot and make a lot impact on that part. So yes, 101st all the way.
That's a well. I'm an old 82nd guy, so I'm a little bit biased here. And if you ask me the same question, I would tell you 82nd Airborne Division was my best duty station. Why? I know you were 101st guy, I'm 82nd guy with the same people. But just want to say thank you, man. Thanks for taking your time to come on the show. To share your experiences and share your military journey. This is our platform. If you want to come back on here anytime to discuss something else, it's open to you at any time. You have an open,
Thank you,
invitation.
brother.
Anything you want to discuss, man. I know we didn't get into your post, military career. If you want to talk about your current role, what you're doing, whatever, that put something on the calendar, man. Come back and share the stories because your story is going to impact a lot of people. A lot of people, man. I just want to say thank you, man. If you have any closing comment, anything else you want to share with the folks?
Hey, I want to say thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to invite me to your channel. I appreciate it. I've never done this before, but I tell you what, whatever I
Mhm.
can do to assist, to help, to a fellow veteran, to a fellow soldier, I'm always available. My time is there for them. 100%. 100%.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man.